Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays. Yeah.
Sorry about that. My mic was on mute. Welcome to All Sports, All Plays, ASAP in the morning here. I am Ray Cruz. Yes, you see me from Jags Nation college breakdown shows and the wrestling hour here on All Sports, All Plays. Now I am going to be officially on the morning show here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We come to you at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We got a lot of stuff going on here. We had Monday Night Football coming up. We had to go talk about the Atlanta Braves baseball team a little bit, and we're going to talk about Notre Dame football and then much, much more here on this show today. We should have Chris joining us here momentarily. He's running a little bit late. Craig, who's usually the host of the show, he's on his work. His full-time job has him doing some stuff today, and he won't be back until Monday of next week. So he's getting a little break from the show, so I will be hosting the show today. So I came up with went through some of the stuff that happened up Monday Night Football. You know, we'll be talking about that here momentarily. We'll be talking about the Atlanta Braves, how they took over first place. Now they're a game and a half behind the New York Mets. Can they catch up? Can they stop this 3-game skid they're on? Did they win last night in San Francisco? We'll talk about that here. We'll talk about Notre Dame, the quarterback injury at Notre Dame. We'll be touching bases of that. Chris comes on. We'll be going to that Notre Dame because he is in Indiana. He knows a little bit more about the Notre Dame football team. So we'll get his opinion on it. Will Drew Payne will he be ready to be up for the task? Because they got California this week, got North Carolina next week, week 4 of football. And we'll be talking about that. So we want to go ahead and start the show here. We're going to talk about Monday Night Football. Let's bring up say welcome to the show. Yeah, last night, I didn't do too much at home and stuff like that. Do a little bit of open monologue here. So I mean, hanged out with the kids, watched Monday Night Football, made dinner. We had eggs and bacon. We did breakfast for dinner. It's kind of cool down here. You can't get too much of bacon, you can't get too much of eggs, so. We had that, but, other than that, watch Monday Night Football, watch WWE wrestling, flip back and forth. And, I have a TV and I have my computer, so I have Hulu. If you ain't got Hulu, you can get the Hulu because you can watch it on many screens you want to. So that's how I watch football, and that's how I put up football on all 3 computer screens I got, and I put one on my thing, and I even bring up my laptop and my phone and put the football games on. So I get all the football games that I can get on my network. So, I mean, can't get too much of football, can't get too much NFL, you can't get too much of wrestling, you can't get too much of any kind of things in sports that we have here. So let's get started here. The first thing I came up with here is, should the Denver Broncos have gone for it on 4th and 5 instead of kicking a 64-yard field goal? That's the question. I want to get people's opinion on that. Come on, if you're on our Facebook or YouTube, come on and comment here. And I want to get y'all's opinion. We'll read them on the air and stuff like that. But to me, I think they still had plenty of time. They still had timeout. They were like 30, 35 seconds. I think they had plenty of time to try to go get a 4th and 5th play. I understand they're a little bit of thinking of a 64-yard field goal, but a 64-yard field goal in Seattle, that's a little bit tough. I know it was long enough, but he wasn't accurate. And that's kind of hard to get an accurate kicker to kick for 64 yards, even though he had like a 63-yarder before, as a long. But I mean, 64 yards, that's right at beyond midfield. So I mean, I understand this thought behind it, but I would have trusted Russell Wilson. You paid Russell Wilson, $256 million? I would have trusted Russell Wilson and rolled him out and had an option to run or pass in that situation to get them the first down. If they got the first down, then you move the kicker in closer. He has a better chance of kicking the game-winning field goal. I think that was kind of a mistake. I can think that was kind of a wrong thinking by Hackett of the Denver Broncos. I wasn't big. I was in favor for that, and you can see Russell Wilson kind of a little bit upset about it coming out when he came out of the thing. So I'm going to seem that he wasn't very happy about that. I think they could have ran a play. I think he had enough time. I think they could have picked up the first down with that rollout, giving him the pass run option. But then again, Seattle's defense was in the backfield most of the night too. So I mean, but if you look at some of the stats and stuff like that, so Damon chimed in. Seahawks hired a Geno impersonator, laughing out loud. Yeah, Geno looked pretty good. I mean, from many times he backed up Phillip Rivers. He backed up some of the good quarterbacks, took some stuff from him. He managed the team very well. He did. Seattle only scored all their points in the first and second quarter. They scored 7 in the first quarter, 10 in the second quarter. The Broncos scored 13 in the first and second total. About halftime was 17-13, and then only scoring in the second half. And the game was in the fourth quarter when the Denver Broncos kicked a field goal to make it 16-17. But still, to me, I think that was a misconception, a missed opportunity to try to win this football game and send Russell Wilson out of Seattle with a victory, with a chance of trying a closer field goal than a 64-yard field goal. I understand, but I think they wasted a lot of time, too, on that play. I mean, they took 15 seconds before they decided they wanted to kick a field goal. And, that's, to me, I think they should have gone for it. That's my thinking. I don't understand what his thinking was about it. I really don't. I mean, you got less percentage of kicking a 64-yard field goal into the end zone than you would have to making that fourth down play, because you had too many options you can run on that fourth, fifth play. I mean, you could have ran it like he said here, like Damien said here. They should have gone for a trick play. They could run run a reverse, or you can do a flea flicker. So much stuff that you could have done in that situation. Like I said, you could have rolled him out either to the right or to the left. Have him have a run pass option. Put him out there, make them have to defend. Because if he still looks like he's going to start running, all of a sudden the corner's going to have to come back and try to help him in the support run, and then that's when you could put a little pass over top of the corner's head and get to your receiver, and he might have the first down, get him out of bounds, and then boom, you're about 15, maybe you get 15 yards. You're 15 yards closer, so that'll be about a 49-yard field goal. A better chance of making it in the 49 range than you would at the 64 range. But I mean, that was a very entertaining. The crowd was in it, like it always is in Seattle. Like I said, Geno Smith, he looked pretty good first game. Let's see I wonder how this continue for Seattle. Their defense looked pretty good. Defense only gave up 16 points. I mean, most of that was gave up 1 touchdown and gave up 4 field goals. So, and 1 extra point. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, can he hold us up against teams? I mean, that's going to be the question for Seattle. Pete Carroll got his first win. Seattle starts without the Russell Wilson era at 1-0. Denver starts with the Russell Wilson era at 0-1. So, I mean, but there's a lot of questions in this game too. There's a lot of questions in this ball game. On the down by the goal line, why didn't he put? I know Williams did fumble the ball at one time near the end zone. This was after the play that they should have put him in for Melvin Gordon, had him running from the 1-yard line. He was a big, powerful back than Melvin Gordon was. He could have got in and got the touchdown. So that's a missed opportunity for Denver too. So it was a lot of missed opportunities by Denver. It was a lot of a lot of stuff for the Seattle Seahawks, moving from the 50 all the way to the 40-yard line. And they were moving the ball. The second one, when they got near the goal line, Denver had some turnovers in in that goal line area, that red zone area. So I mean, you got to give your hats off to Seattle. You got to give your hat off Pete Carroll. He starts this season without Russell Wilson at 1-0. Russell Wilson 0-1. So I mean, let's go a little bit here. I want to go a little bit of stats here. I like going through stats here. I mean, if you look at the team stats here in this ball game, man, if you look at the stats, you think Denver won the game if you didn't see the score. I mean, first down, Denver had 20, Seattle had 19. 13 passing first downs by Denver, 9 by Seattle. Rushing was 5 and 3. Advantage Broncos. Penalties on first down was 2 by the Broncos, 7 by the Seahawks. The efficiency was 8 and 15 by Denver, 6 and 11 by Seattle. Fourth down, both teams were 0 and 1. Total plays. Denver ran a lot of plays, 64 to 49. 64 plays by Denver, 49 by Seattle. Total yards, Broncos, 433 yards total to 253 yards. Total drives, 8-8, even drives. Yards per play was 6.8 by Broncos, 5.2 by Seattle. Passing, advantage, Broncos. Russell Wilson was 29 out of 42 for 330 yards. Geno Smith was 23 out of 28 for 177 yards. Geno's average passing yards was 5.9. Russell Wilson was 7.5 per yards. Sacks, both teams got sacked. Russell Wilson got sacked twice for 10 yards. Geno Smith got sacked for 2 yards for 18 losses. Once again, the advantage for rushing was the Denver Broncos, 103 to 76. Rushing attempts was 20 to 19. Yards per rush, 5.2 by the Denver, 4.0 by Seattle. This is the key right here. When I talk about football teams winning games, you have to win the red zone. You have to win the red zone. Boom. 0 and 4 in the red zone. They had 4 opportunities to score touchdowns in the red zone. They went 0 and 4. Seattle wasn't even better. 0 and 2. But what caused this game to think was mental lapse penalty-wise. 12 penalties for 106 yards. Football field is only 100 yards. They had penalties for the whole entire field and 6 more yards after that. The Broncos. They have to cut down on their penalties. Penalties will take drives away, will halt drives, will give teams advantage when you have to go in long and you can't complete it. Man, 12 penalties for 106 yards. Seattle had 5 penalties for 77 yards. But the Broncos turned the ball over 2 times on fumbles, losses, 2. Seattle only lost the fumble once. No interception. And the time possession is in favor of the Broncos. 33 minutes and 39 seconds to 26 minutes and 21 seconds. The Broncos dominated the stat sheet. So if you didn't look at the score, you swear the Broncos have won the game. By all the stats right there. But it didn't happen because 2 things stood out. 3 things really stood out. They lost 2 fumbles. 2 critical fumbles. 1 by the goal line. 1 outside the red zone. They lost 2. That's 1. They lost the turnover battle. Penalties. They lost the penalty battle. They had more penalties than the yard itself. Red zone. Both teams were pretty good in red zone. They both were one was 0 and 4 and the other one was 0 and 2. But to me, it came down to a mistake by the coaching. I would have tried to get that 4th and 5. I would have I'd say, hey, I paid you this much money. Give me that first down. I ain't paid the kicker that much money to kick 64-yard field goal. I would have gone for it on 4th and 5 with that chance of getting that first down, picking up 15 extra yards, and then kick a better field goal percentage of a 49-yarder. He had a better chance of making 49 yards than he would have made it at 64 yards. And then Damon came out and said Denver missed Patrick Williams like bad last night. Yes, I agree with you. But still, again, you had a chance to win the game, but you made mistakes. You made mistakes in the red zone. You had 4 attempts in the red zone, came out empty. You had 12 penalties for 106 yards. The football field is only 100 yards. So you went the whole football field in penalties plus 6 more extra yards. I mean, Seattle wasn't that. I mean, Seattle was bad too. 5 penalties for 77 yards. 2 turnovers, but 2 fumbles. Careless of carrying the ball, mistakes. They lost them. Seattle committed 1 turnover, 1 fumble, they lost. Geno Smith protected the football, not throwing interceptions. He managed the game. The defense helped him out. Or we can say the Broncos really helped themselves out with this loss. But then again, you have to give your hats off to Geno Smith coming back, continuing, inspiring himself, trying to make him a starting quarterback in the NFL. He won the season opener. Pete Carroll won the season opener without Russell Wilson. Is this going to be the mainstay for Seattle? Is this going to be the concept? Have Geno Smith manage the football game, not turn the ball over. Let rely on your defense to try to win ball games for you. It happened before. Remember the Baltimore Ravens? Ray Lewis in the defense. They had Trent Dilfer at quarterback. Did not turn the ball over. Executed the game plan. Managed the game. Put field position. Defense won the games. Hey, I'm not saying they're good as that Baltimore defense at that time, but we have seen the same concept of winning football games like that in the NFL. Who knows? That's. I see what you're saying there by Gregory. He was MIA. Let me see, Gregory. Let me see if I can find out anything about Gregory for the Broncos. That's a good question there. Let's see here. Randy Gregory, 6-year outside linebacker who has appeared in 50 career games and 3 seasons. Let's see here. Trying to see if he's out for it. He might be out. No, Randy Gregory forced a fumble and Justin Simmons recovered. He was there. He forced it. According to some of the articles here, he said Randy Gregory forced a fumble and Justin Simmons recovered. He made a play. But still, same result. They lost. He showed up. He forced 1 fumble in this ball game, and Justin Simmons recovers. So I mean, he did show up, and he showed up in the play when he forced that fumble. But then again, he was quiet the rest of the night. He's got to step up. He's getting a fresh start. But then again, it takes time for teammates to gel with each other. Even though you went through the preseason, but you didn't play them all the time the whole preseason. So this is just week 1. Denver should be okay. Russell Wilson will get better as the season goes along. You can't win all games in the NFL to win the Super Bowl. Just ask the New England Patriots when they went undefeated and they lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. Right now, it's still the 1972 Dolphins are still undefeated, the only undefeated NFL Super Bowl champions. Ain't that many of them left. to celebrate, but they still carrying that tradition. That's a good question. Do y'all out there think will there ever be a team to go undefeated to win a Super Bowl in our lifetime besides the 1972 Dolphins? Or just the NFL is too much disparity where a team will dominate certain points, then you get the playoffs, and then that team loses. I mean, you ain't came close. They went all the way to the Super Bowl and lost to the Giants. It's so hard to win in 17 weeks of games, and then you got to play the playoffs. You wear and tear on your body is just a wear and tear. But still, that's a good question. Let's go continue on here. Let's see, Damien's interacting right now. Let's continue with him. If Broncos have had a bad season, who is more on the hot seat, Elway or Hackett? Elway. He makes all the calls on the front office. He's put these people in places. Now, I blame last night on Hackett, yes, and his offensive coordinator. They have to have a play in there to get this 4th and 5. They had to have a play. You have Russell Wilson too good. He can run with his legs. He can pass with his arm. He's double trouble back there. Make a design, roll the quarterback out, and have him have an option of running. If you see the corner bell off the receiver trying to be supportive of you running, you throw the ball. If the corner keeps going, you only got to make one man miss. You made that one man miss, you got 50. You got 10 extra yards yourself. Now, was Pete Carroll sitting in that defense where they had a spy on him? Who knows? Who would know? But you will have a better chance at completing that 4th and 5 than you would at 64-yard field goal. Because there were no wind blowing, helping that ball keep going. I mean, he had the leg for it, but it was wide. He wasn't accurate. And trying to be accurate from 64 yards is a tough thing to do. All right, let me bring on my man here, Jay. What's up there, Jay? Oh, you don't want to come on now? Let's see here. What's he doing? What is Jay doing? Jay's trying to get ready. He got his green screen thing, so we're trying to get him acclimated on the show here. There we go. Let's put that on there. But yeah, while we're waiting Jay to join us here on the ASAP in the morning show, but I'm gonna get his take on this situation with Denver and in the 64-yard field goal, and then we're gonna break it down a little bit more onto it. Hold on one second. He's texting me. Let's see what's going on. But still, to me, I think it's just that it was just bad decision all the way around. And like I said, if you look at the stats, the key issues were the penalties, the fumble loss, turnovers, and you're 0-4 in the red zone by the Denver Broncos. They left points on the board. That is a problem. And I don't think he's hiding. He's having a little bit of technical issues right now, trying to get on there, Damon. Jay don't hide, man. He ain't like the Duke Blue Devil fans that go out and hide it when they lose. But I mean that's what I'm trying to figure out here. While Jay's trying to figure out everything here, um, we'll be right back. I'm going to take a quick break here while Jay's trying to figure out everything to get him on. So hopefully when we come back, we have Jay on. So this is ASAP in the morning. This is Ray Cruz. And we'll be going into a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Hopefully Jay will join us after the break.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. We talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What did you say?
I said Kobe Bean Bryant has been overrated ever since he passed away.
Now, I'd say they could lose about 4, but I don't see them losing 5. You know what I mean?
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
This is the Fox D Streaming Network. Register to come on our channel at foxdnetwork.com.
Welcome back to the ASAP in the morning. I am Ray Cruz. Yes, you see me from Jag Nation. You see me from Wrestling Hour. You see me from the College Breakdown Show, all on the All Sports All Plays Network. I am the host of all those shows. I am now joining the the ASAP in the morning crew, Monday through Friday. So this I'll be a fixture on this show. Like I said, Craig is on business assignment. He won't be back until Monday. So we're trying to get Jay from technical issues on the backstage area. We're trying to get him on here for a moment before he heads off to his job. So let's see what Damon has to say. Damon came up with something here. I could see the Bills going to the Super Bowl undefeated. They might have some hiccups on the way. I mean, I don't want to put too much pressure on any team to try to take yourself undefeated. The common goal in the game of football is try to get to the Super Bowl. Try to get to the Super Bowl as healthy as possible, but you will have some hiccups along the way. Now, if you want to be a playoff winning team, you have to win ugly games. There's going to be some games that will be ugly for you. You have to win those ugly games. I mean, we just in week 1, the Bills look good. Give the hats off to the Bills, to Josh Allen, to that defense. They beat the defending Super Bowl champions, the Rams, in that first game. But let's look at let's take Damon's point here a little bit. Let's look at the Bills' schedule coming up here in the next 3 or 4 weeks. They play Monday night against Tennessee and Buffalo. And then they got, on the 26th, they got the Dolphins. They have to go to Miami to play the Dolphins. Dolphins look good, too. Waddle, the wide receiver, looks excellent. They got Hill from the Kansas City Chiefs. He did pretty good. So, I mean, the Dolphins might be coming around, too, a little bit here. That might be a good game to watch, too. The Titans game, I don't know. The Titans have got to figure out, because the Bills are going to probably put a man in the box and make Tannehill beats you. Because right now, the Titans wide receiver core doesn't look too good, too impressive in that first game of the season. But then again, you'll see you're supposed to have a bigger jump from week 1 to week 2. You should see a little bit of a jump as the team is going to be starting to get developing out. Excuse me. Follow that on October 2nd, the Bills travel to Baltimore. So that's going to be a good game there, too, in Baltimore. Then you got the pesky Steelers. Will go invade Buffalo on October 9th. And then October 16th, they got the Chiefs. So then again, I could see them possibility end up by the time they play the Green Bay Packers, maybe 1 or 2 losses. So, I mean, they can prove me wrong, but I do see them maybe with 1 or 2 losses. It could be the Ravens, or it could be the Dolphins game. It all depends how the Dolphins are playing, how the Dolphins are by that time. It depends on how good Lamar Jackson is becoming. Because we know the Ravens' defense is going to be there. This game right here, the Ravens and the Buffalo game, I wouldn't surprise that game go down to be 3-0. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But I mean, to your question is, you think the Bills are gonna go undefeated? They got some tough games coming up in this rest of this month and next month. Do they get easier down the road? Packers don't look like the Packers of themselves because they lost too many pieces. They lost Jamal Adams. They had two of the wide receivers injured. Rodgers didn't look too good. They get the Jets. Ooh, November 13th. They play the Minnesota Vikings in Buffalo. That's another tough game there. See what I'm saying? If these teams are playing to what they did in the first week and they're playing to their ability, then there's something to say. If you think the Buffalo Bills are going to go undefeated in this type of schedule, now they get easier a little bit easier after that. I mean, they played after the Vikings game. They got Cleveland. They got Cleveland comes to them. Then they go to Detroit. They go to New England. Then they go to the Jets. They go back to then the Dolphins come to them. Then the Bears. They go to the Bears. The Bengals, Cincinnati Bengals. Between all that, if the pitchers look like what they did in the first week, there's going to be some trouble up there in New England. But when you get to Cincinnati, you still got Joe Burrow, even though Cincinnati lost, and Joe Burrow threw 3 interceptions in week 1. By the time January 2nd come around, they should be playing better. So, I mean, to your point, Damien, they could make it to the playoffs with 3 losses. With 3 to 4 losses. So, I mean, that's something you got to look for in the next schedule, in Buffalo's schedule. So, I mean, that's a good question. That's a good thing. And you did provide a little bit of an issue there, and I provided a little bit of hopefully I answered some of that question on that. Can they go undefeated? I said probably not. I said they got 3 to 4 losses maybe on their schedule. The possibility of losses. So, I mean, they might look good right now, but like I say, in the NFL, you don't want to peak too early. If you peak too early, and then you don't peak at the right time, It's all about you playing up to the ability of winning football games, but also making yourself peak at the right time. You can have a couple losses in the NFL and still make the playoffs. But when teams trying to play undefeated ball to go all the way there and trying to be the next team to be undefeated, you're running some problems on them things. You play ugly games. The pressure mounts up every game for you. Let's say the Buffalo Bills, for instance, gets all the way down and they get into the last week and you're still undefeated when they play the Bengals. What kind of pressure will they be under then? Because the mistake is you only got till January 8th. It's your last game of the season and against the Patriots in Buffalo. But you have starting getting pressure on you after that thing. Hey, we're going undefeated. Boom, you got all this pressure. And they can luck up losing to the Bengals, or they can luck up losing to the Patriots. Or they can go undefeated all regular season and do what New England did, get all the way to the Super Bowl and lose. I will always say, hey, I will take a loss in the regular season because you take a loss in the playoffs, you're out. If I got the regular season locked up, that one loss is not going to really hurt me. So let me see if Jay's ready to come on here.
Man,
what's up, man?
So I heard you talking Buffalo. Seeing what you say they're gonna go undefeated. We're talking about if they can go undefeated.
Now, Damon said that I could see Buffalo going undefeated to the Super Bowl undefeated.
Going to the Super Bowl undefeated? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They got a hard schedule to me. Looking at their schedule, I mean, you got Tennessee, which we know Derrick Henry does what he does. Then after the Tennessee game, they got 2 home games, but they got Tua and then Lamar. Normally, I wouldn't be worried about stepping into Miami or Miami stepping into Buffalo. However, with Tyreek Hill over there, I think they got Waddle. They got a couple other guys, and Mike Gesicki. I think that him, getting Tyreek and getting that receiving core the way it is, that opens up some running lanes for him as well. So I think that week 3 matchup with Miami could turn out to be a debacle on the Buffalo Bills side of the football. I could see that. I could see them losing in week 3. Then you got Baltimore the week after that. So you got a tough game against Miami at home, and then you got to stay home. That's a good thing. But then you got Baltimore coming in, and Lamar's gonna, do his thing there. That defense is always going to be something that we're gonna, have a microscope on in Buffalo, because the offense is going to do what they do. Josh Allen's going to do what he does. Diggs is going to do what he does. So we're going to be worried about the defensive side of the ball. Again, Tennessee, high running offense, and they do their thing. Then you got Miami, whose offense has stepped up a lot so far, what we've seen in week 1. Then you got Baltimore. But after that, you got the Steelers, and then you got the Chiefs. So, I mean, their next 5 games before their bye week are going to be a dogfight every single week. And the other thing is, I don't know if Buffalo is capable of having those same shootout style games that they were having last year, and winning them the same way. So to me, that's going to be definitely something that I'm going to be watching. Like their defense has to step up. Their defense has to help hold these teams under, 30 points, which last week they did. They held them to 10, 2 touchdowns. They held them under 2 touchdowns. So that's very good. If they could do that, Damian, I could kind of see where you're headed, but I still don't see them going undefeated into the Super Bowl. I don't see them going undefeated into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think when teams try to make themselves act like they're the 1972 Dolphins, they put a lot of pressure on themselves. And if they do somehow do escape the regular season, then you got a lot of pressure going into the playoffs too. So I mean, to me, to be a team, I'd rather have. To me, I'm superstitious. If I go to if I lose one game of regular season just before I get to the playoffs, then my team, I know I'm pretty good because I'm not on a winning streak. I'm on a losing streak, but still, I'd rather lose in the regular season than win in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, and then the other thing is too. I mean, they're not gonna. Josh Allen had 4 touchdowns, three passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown, but he also threw 2 interceptions. I think they got away with that. You know, Los Angeles only scoring 10 points. Let's take that into account that Matthew Stafford had elbow surgery this offseason. He didn't play in the preseason. He was dealing with a shoulder injury to end the year last year, along with the elbow. So I think they got a little bit of the week 1 woes in Los Angeles. You know, I saw that in a couple of teams this week. You know, switching gears over to my Cardinals. You know, in the Kansas City game. We didn't play one single starter in the preseason. That's a problem. You know, we looked like we didn't play a single starter in the preseason for the first 2 quarters. It looked like it. You know, it was evident. So, you know, is that what we saw with Buffalo in Los Angeles? Because again, Matthew Stafford didn't throw a football pretty much this offseason. He was recovering from that elbow surgery. I think it's on the same arm as the shoulder injuries too. So I think that's his throwing arm. So those are issues. Those are things that, you know, the first 2 weeks, I think is really, you're going to see a lot of teams getting their footing, deciding what their identity is going to be for the year. I mean, we had a lot of movement this offseason. You know, Ray, you got to see my boy Christian Kirk working down there in Jacksonville this week, and you know, everybody was talking stuff about Jacksonville and giving Christian all that money to come over and be their wide receiver number 1. But week 1, if we're grading everything off of week 1, it was a success. It was a great signing.
Yeah, he had 6 receptions, 117 yards.
And that's another thing too, bro. You guys haven't been able to get the deep ball going. The past few years, and that's something that Christian Kirk is able to do. He's able to go over the top, you know, open up the top of that defense, and you know, do really put some hurting on them. So that's what I think these next 3 weeks, and going back to Damian, dude, if they go undefeated into their bye week, that's a success. Because they go on a bye week 7. But again, they just faced the Rams. They travel to Tennessee. They got 2 home at with Miami and Baltimore. They travel to Pittsburgh, and they come back to face the Chiefs. I don't see them going undefeated on that stretch going into the bye week, week 7. So I doubt.
Yeah, because they go to Baltimore on October 2nd.
Correct.
And then they go to Miami on September 25th.
Correct.
So those 2 games.
Don't see that happening.
Now I'd say the Titans game could be a little bit a tricky one because Derrick Henry, if they put 8 men in the box, but then make Tannehill beat you, and then that could easily go to round 2. But they're playing in Buffalo. I think Buffalo could take care of the Titans in that game. But I think the next 2 games after that is going to be a hard one.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing too, since we're talking about Tennessee, you know, after their week 1 loss against the Giants and, you know, only scoring 2 touchdowns, we talk about this every single year. Ryan Tannehill is going to not lose the game for you. He's not going to go out there and win the game for you. And he's a wonderful game manager. You know, he's going to hold on to the football. He's not going to turn the football over. But losing to the New York Football Giants 21-20 on your home opener is not a good look. And again, Ryan Tannehill is no slouch. He was 20 for 33, 266 yards, 13-yard passing average, which is wonderful from your quarterback. He had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, everything right there is wonderful. But the fact that you lose 20-21 to the New York Football Giants in week 1 with all the questions that they have,
yeah,
that's not good. And we seen Malik. Malik looked well. He looked well in the preseason.
Yeah. I mean, that's. But then again, preseason is preseason.
I mean,
it's not
it is.
You're not playing against. Sometimes you're not playing against the starters right away. Or you're playing against a mixed defense where they're trying to see what people can fit in with the starting rotation too. So that's a lot of key elements that you're giving up there too, because you're not playing your regular base defense either.
I mean, which you're totally correct about. But again, let's take a step back and say, okay, we got a quarterback that can sling this ball 60 to 70 yards on a line, and then if the D line does get in the backfield, he can turn up the field and turn it into a 20, 30-yard gain off of a scramble. That's dangerous. We watch Lamar Jackson. We watch Patrick. We watch Kyler. We watch Justin Herbert at times. Josh Allen. We watch these guys. So Ryan Tannehill, you really got to make some changes this week coming up, because how long do you go in that division, losing or underperforming, I should say. I don't know how long they let that happen. So, I mean, Tennessee, they got bye week 6. So you got Giants, who they just lost to. You got Buffalo, Vegas, Indianapolis, Washington, bye, and then Indianapolis. So by week 7, you're telling me that we're going to go down 2-0 in the division against Indianapolis? I don't know. If Tannehill doesn't do anything by week 3 with the Raiders, I don't know if they go into week 4 as Tannehill as quarterback. I don't think they go into Indianapolis 0-3 and Tannehill's still starting.
I don't know. You got to think about it too. This AFC South division is going to be a little bit tougher this year than it was last year, because I think we've seen a little bit of what Jaguars got going on the defensive side, and I know it took them a while, but the thing I liked about the Jaguars, they didn't give up. They didn't give up when they went down 14-3. Last year under Urban Meyer, they went down 14-3. They would have gave up, and the score would probably been like 27-3, 20, not even seeing the thing. But you see what Doug Peterson is putting the toughest in this team, and the number 1 draft pick, he did something that nobody else did besides that Watts did, have as a first round draft pick, have an interception and a sack in the same game. So I took it all the way back to 2017 the last time when Watts did that. So that's a start.
No, it definitely is, and that's the thing. I mean, me and you, we've talked Jaguars football a few times because you're a season ticket holder. You frequent the games, and like I said, we've talked Jaguar football a few times. And Jaguars have a good team. They have a good team filled of youngsters, and again, adding Christian Kirk really will help them out in the long run. But going back to the AFC South division as a whole, this might be the worst division of football this year. NFC East might edge them out. And I mean, that's no shot on Jacksonville. That's no shot on Indianapolis. That's no shot at Tennessee. But I'm looking at a group, including throwing the Texans in there. I'm looking at a division that's kind of in a transition. Yeah. There's not a team here that has a true identity at the moment. Houston, we have a problem. That's going to be my phrase for Houston for the next 2 to 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Indianapolis how do you go out week one and end with a tie with Houston? It doesn't it make sense, make it make sense. So and then we talk about Tennessee. We just talked about that, and that now I'm looking at this week one debacle to me, because you're not, as Tennessee, looking from the outside in. You wouldn't have told me that week one they're going in, they're facing the New York Football Giants and they're losing a game.
Yeah.
And they're losing week one. You wouldn't have told me that 2 to 3 weeks ago. There's nothing that would have convinced me that Tennessee was going to lose to New York. So looking at that, and then throwing in the fact that Malik did do well in the preseason, now we got a QB issue, because you got by far the best running back in the league. By far.
Right.
By far. So you having that weapon, giving up Julio Jones, giving up A.J. Brown, I mean, dude, now you need something back there, because Ryan Tannehill is not the weapon. He's not he's not, you know what I'm saying? He's not the Swiss Army knife. So you need to surround him with weapons. And you got rid of a lot of them. So again, looking back at their schedule, that week 7 game or that week 6 bye week could really mean something and a change in the course of direction of this team. And I don't think they go out and lose in Indianapolis, go to the week 6 bye, go back to Indianapolis, and keep Tannehill.
Yeah, I agree with you that too. But then you got to look at it too. Indianapolis goes to Jacksonville, where they haven't won since 2017.
That's another thing. They just tied it to Houston. And that's why I said this division might end up being the worst division in football this year. For one, they might take care of themselves.
Yeah.
And then 2, they're definitely the worst division in the AFC South. I mean, the AFC. I'm sorry. You got Buffalo and the Patriots, and then the Miami Dolphins in the East. You got the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Steelers looked really good this weekend in the North. And then, do we even got to talk about the West? Do we even got to talk about the West? That might be the best division in football this year.
Yeah, because you got to see the Broncos, the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Raiders all going to be battling each other out for that crown.
Yeah, the Raiders and the Chargers already faced each other. That was a hell of a game.
Yeah.
They opened up week 1 with a rematch of week 18 last year, which was a hell of a game. It's a lot going on right now, and it's just week 1. This is why we love football so much.
No.
But switching gears and switching sides of the conference. Let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. I heard you earlier talking a little bit about Green Bay, but I called it. I did not call Minnesota being number 1 in the division. Don't get me wrong. It's only week 1, but I did say Green Bay is going to have a hell of a time this year in their division, because that is one of the biggest rivalries as far as a division goes to me in football, is that NFC North. Green Bay and Minnesota, Green Bay and Chicago, Detroit when they were good, Detroit and Green Bay on Thanksgiving. Like, there's just that competition, that rivalry factor, inter-division games that happen in the NFC North. So for the Vikings to come out in week 1, take care of the Green Bay Packers, that was beautiful. And then the Chicago Bears. How fitting is it to open week 1, Justin Fields gets his second game in, and it's a downpour.
Slip and slide. The slip and slide.
You could pull that back up. They're not a good organization, but I get he was with the Falcons. They're not a good organization, but he was the QB there. He made hell of mistakes there. It was his fault. I don't like Matt Ryan. But Matt Tannehill, that's what we should call him. He's one of those guys, man, Damian. He's one of those guys that's not necessarily going to win the game for you. He does give you a little bit more than Tannehill in the sense of he has a stronger arm. He's going to take those chances. He's going to do what he can to implement, his mark on the game, more than Tannehill. What the hell, Ryan Tannehill, in a sense. But Matt Ryan has never been that guy for me. He's never gave me that warm, fuzzy feeling of knowing as a quarterback on the field that there's still time on the clock and we might be able to win this. I mean, anytime you go, what were they up 28 in the Super Bowl? Something like that, 21,
Yeah.
28? Yeah,
28.
ain't no way. Ain't no way. Make it make sense, way. Because I'll tell you right now, you get me in that same position, I don't care if I can only throw 15 yards. We ain't losing after being up 28. I'm gonna hold the ball. I'm gonna kneel. We ain't running. We'll run 32 straight running plays if we have to, but we are not losing a 28-point lead.
All right, so while we flipped over to the NFC side, we talked about it yesterday on the morning show. I want to get your opinion. It's the Dallas Cowboys finish.
Hear me out. This might be good for Dallas. Jerry Jones is abnormally loyal to shitty quarterbacks.
Well, he's got one right now in Rush.
He's abnormally loyal to people that he just randomly selects, and that goes from Jason Garrett to Tony Romo, now Dak Prescott, and nothing against Dak, but Jerry fucked up. Excuse my French. You got rid of most of his weapons. Zeke is not the guy you thought he was. Zeke, everybody talks stuff about this Kyler Murray clause. I would have had a contract. I would have had something in the contract for Zeke that his weight needs to be under control. Like I'd have had a weight clause in there for Zeke. And there's just certain things that I think that Jerry needs to ditch in his approach to the game now. It's not the 90s. Shit ain't working, bro. You got to move on. And you can't move on from pieces that you know are really good and valuable because you're loyal to some quarterback. It's always been quarterbacks with him. He's looking for his Troy Aikman. And I think that's, is killing his setup. And
yeah, go ahead.
No, really, it's killing his setup. And I think Dak is good. I think he is good. But Dak needs help.
Now, did Green Bay make the mistake not keeping Adams? Giving him all that money?
Fuck yeah. Yeah.
Because nobody's going to fear Aaron Rodgers now when they ain't got no good wide receivers. I don't even think they have a number one wide receiver up there now.
I feel like people ain't feared Aaron Rodgers in like 2-3 years. I think they feared the fact that they had Devontae Adams over there. But let's be honest. I mean, last year we saw a lot of Aaron Jones. A lot of Aaron Jones. And that's because they didn't have the rest of the – I mean, Scatling is good. They got a couple of good receivers. They don't have any great receivers. They don't have any standout receivers. They don't have any receivers that can just say, hey, if you get one-on-one coverage, I'm going to you no matter what it looks like, because I know that it's either you catch it or it goes to an incomplete pass. They don't have those guys, and if I look at every single team, even their division, they got Justin Jefferson and Thielen on the same team. I mean, come on, bro. So they don't have that anymore. And check down Rodgers, discount double check, right? That's what we're gonna call him. You're gonna call that boy check down Rodgers from now on. The Cowboys need to have some kind of dirt on Jerry Jones to get him out, like Washington is doing. It'll take a lot more dirt. It's gonna take a landfill to get Jerry Jones out of there. They're gonna have to bury him in a landfill or something because it ain't the same. People don't like Dan Snyder. People like Jerry Jones.
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot, because if you go to Dallas and you go around that stadium, like I said, they can't sell alcohol around that stadium. Not within 2 miles of the stadium.
Bro, listen. What's Dan Snyder's nickname? What's Dan Snyder's nickname? I don't know. Do you know?
No, I don't know offhand.
They got Jerry's location called Jerry's World. No, don't Google it. The whole point was we don't know. We don't know, Dre. Dan Snyder ain't that guy. Dan Snyder owns a team. There's a lot of people in the football world. They know who Dan Snyder is. There's probably some other business execs out there, but Jerry Jones is known by people that don't even know football. like Jerry Jones is a totally different person when it comes to, there's levels to this shit. Meek Mill,
Yeah, Jerry Jones is a micromanager though.
Yeah. You shouldn't be upset. They played a very good game. Let's talk about that Denver game though. But what's up with the coaching? Like 60 that you settled for a 64-yard field goal with Russell Wilson. You did not think one time, let's do a little bootleg and let Russell run it for 5 yards and get us in the better. I mean, get us at 59. Like what the hell? And then you just waste the timeout. Didn't you call it timeout during the kneel down for what? What is the goal? You got 3 timeouts. They got 4 plays. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, CJ, great minds think alike. I said that. I said they could have ran that naked bootleg, had him a run pass option coming out of that thing. And, when you have a quarterback that can run, what does it do to the corner? The corner has to stop a little bit to make sure he ain't running the football to come back and help with the tackle. And if he did that, then boom, he could throw a little pass over the top, and he could possibly get him not from to the 59-yard field. He possibly could have gave him to the 49-yard field goal, which is more capable of making than the 64 yards.
Damian, I understand that, but it ain't Minnesota. It ain't Minnesota, bro. Packers don't open up the NFL season and lose a division game like that. That's not normal Packers style football. That's not normal Aaron Rodgers-esque. And people could say whatever they want, but that's an issue. That's step one of post Adams, post Devontae breakdown. That's step one. It ain't gonna all happen at once. It's 1 week at a time. And week one, it happened. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen more this season. I mean, just breaking down Green Bay's schedule. And I don't know. I also feel like this year, I'm seeing a little bit more of an even playing field in the NFL more than I have in past years. I mean, yeah, we got our good teams. Kansas City's good. Buffalo looked good. We're going to have our good teams, but it looked more even than anything. And to your point, Damian, we'll know next week. We will know next week in Green Bay as they let the Chicago Bears come in to Lambeau Field. Green Bay 0-1 in the division. Let's see what happens. Because then they take a break from the division. Then they go to Tampa. Now, if Aaron Rodgers starts 0-3 with 2 division losses, ooh boy, man, ooh boy, 0-3 with 2 division losses, ooh, I can't wait to hear what the Cheeseheads have to say about that.
Is the game finally gonna be? Is the game catching up to Aaron Rodgers now?
I don't know how to answer that, because if you look at Tom Brady, Tom Brady got weapons everywhere. Tom Brady, and that's the thing though, Green Bay's never made it easy for Aaron Rodgers, never. And now he's older, and you're still not helping him out. You look on the flip side, and you look over to Tom, who everybody wants to compare him with. Tom Brady has Leonard Fournette in the backfield, Rojo. Then you look at his wide receivers. He got Mike Evans, Julio, Godwin. There's so many options for Brady. There's so many weapons. You know what I'm saying? He could pull out the Uzi. He could pull out the shotgun for short range combat. He could go through an arsenal of weapons. He has a weapon for every situation. So I think it's wrong for us to say the game is getting Aaron Rodgers. I don't think they're giving Aaron Rodgers a proper chance to be successful right now.
That's Green Bay's MO. I mean, if you look back in the Favre era, Green Bay never really went out and got any kind of talent. It was just made Brett Favre, hey, you got to make these guys better. And, so, I mean, that's to me, I think Green Bay needs to go out and try to figure out what they need to do and try to get some more weapons for them, because if they don't, from week one, and they don't improve from week 1 to week 2, because most team improves from week 1 to week 2, that's gonna be the problem.
I mean, but who do you expect it to come from? A.J. Dillon had 5 receptions, 46 yards off of 6 targets. Dubs had 5 targets, 4 receptions, 37 yards. Tonyan, the tight end, he had 5 targets, 3 receptions, 36 yards. I mean, and then you look at Sammy Watkins. He had 3 targets, he had 3 receptions, 18 yards. Cobb, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 14 yards. And then even Jones, 5 targets, 3 receptions, 27 yards. So he's spreading the ball around. He knows that he ain't got no primary receiver. But at some point, you got to expect those guys to get the ball and do them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get the ball to you. What you gonna do after that? And that's what he needs. He needs some help there. I mean, dude, if he goes up against Kansas City, he has no chance.
No,
he has no chance. How you gonna get in the shootout with them? What you gonna do? Who you going to? We gonna run the ball 40 times a game?
So is it easier for now since Adams is gone, you don't have to worry about Adams. Is it easier now for the defensive coordinator to come up with a game plan just to put Rodgers in that notion to make him feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, we talked about Father Time. He ain't running.
No,
he ain't running out the pocket. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was no crazy scrambler, but Aaron Rodgers had feet. He wasn't just about to just run up on him. You know what I mean? Like, Aaron Rodgers was able to get out of the way. Like, he's getting older. I wouldn't expect that from him.
Now, do you see more defensive coordinator coming after him with blitz than they did before?
Yeah, because you want to put the pressure on Aaron. Aaron's still one of the best quarterbacks out there. You don't want to give him time to sit back there and just carve out your defense. I mean, he can make my 8-year-old receiver if he had time. So yeah, you go after him, but you can. You're not worried about Devontae Adams taking the top off of your defense. You don't have, and he doesn't have anybody else. So, you disguise the blitz packages, throw some different looks at them constantly, keep that offensive line guessing, and you're going to beat Aaron Rodgers this year. Like, honestly, we will know next week. He has Chicago coming to town, and if he loses to Chicago, he goes to Tampa after that. And I'm telling you right now, he does not want to start 0-2 with 2 losses back-to-back in his division and then travel to face Tom Brady. Do you know what the reporters are going to do to him?
Yeah, kill him.
Yeah, they're going to carve him up like a freaking Halloween pumpkin. I'm telling you. Yeah, it's going to be bad. I mean, but I mean, looking at it though, bro. I mean, Cowboys. That's another team that we talked about with Dak getting hurt now, and that's another team that's kind of fallen off. And you got the Green Bay Packers, where I honestly think that they're about to have to pivot from Aaron Rodgers. And then you got. I still can't understand the Colts game. That still was crazy to me. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna see some shifts. And the 49ers losing to Chicago. You know, I was talking about this prior to week 1, you know, switching to Trey Lance. Everybody was like, oh, yeah, you know, I still expect 49ers to be in the top of. No. You're switching. Trey doesn't have the same arm as Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't care what nobody says. We got a quarterback now that's going to be back there every snap. We saw what he was doing last year. They were plugging him here and there, and it's easier to come in and become acclimated with the game that way. Now, with being the every down quarterback, Trey has to go out there, make those reads, make those right throws, make the correct decision, not run so much, you know, keep himself in that pocket a little bit longer to give these receivers a chance. And, you know, I don't know if San Francisco – I believe in Trey in the long run. I don't know if San Francisco is going to be that team this year. Division alone, we're going to give it to them. Wait till we play Trey. We're going to throw everything at him.
Of course, he's technically a rookie quarterback. Is his first start. I mean, usually the defense coordinator will scheme some defense that he can't recognize and stuff like that, and that could be up to a point. But then now the question is, does Jerry Jones goes out to San Francisco and try to get Jimmy G to come to Dallas, since Dak Prescott's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks? Do we see that? Do we see Jerry Jones going out and going to Lynch and asking them, hey, we give you this for Jimmy G? Do we see the Dallas Cowboys do that?
It's a hard question. Does Dallas think that they're Super Bowl bound? They better not. And I mean, at that point, it's what are you giving up for him? You're giving Dak so much money. You put yourself in a bind,
right? Because
now you can't give up too much more for that position. And if you give it up and you guys aren't even playoff bound, boy, put that chin out. Let me touch that chin real quick, because you need to be slapped up. And you know, like, I don't know. That puts you in a bad position, man. That puts you in a really bad position. You know what pisses me off about that? I mean, I don't care. I'd rather Dallas suffer, but they were damn near giving Baker Mayfield away.
Yeah. Yep.
They dropped the dollar on the floor and let the wind push it around the parking lot for about 15 minutes, and nobody picked it up. So they went back out there and picked it up. Like, God damn it, nobody wants this little dollar bill. And then you know, ended up handing it over to Carolina, which I think Carolina is really good at, you know, finding those little, let me go ahead and get Sam Darnold now that everybody didn't want him. Let me go ahead and get Baker now that everybody didn't want him. You know, and Dallas is Jerry's world needs to be slapped up a little bit.
Now, is anybody in the NFC South going to contend with Tampa Bay?
That Saints-Falcon game, that was something. I was like, dang, Falcons whooping their ass. Turn the channel, come back. Damn, what the hell happened? It's a Super Bowl in reverse. You know, like, so I don't know, man. I don't know if I definitely don't think the Saints is gonna do it. Cooper who? Damian, don't play. I know you're not trying to compare a quarterback and a wide receiver, because I know you ain't talking about freaking Dallas backup.
Now the backup quarterback is Rush. He didn't look too good. He couldn't do anything when he came in.
But Rush ain't ready. We all knew that.
Now he's saying now Jerry Jones needs to make a call to Kaepernick if he wants to save the season.
Yeah, no, I knew who you were talking about, Damian. I knew you was talking about Rush. But no, he's not better than Jimmy G, bro.
No.
Jimmy G, they be giving Jimmy G too much BS, man. Y'all be playing with Jimmy. Put some spec on his name, man. Put some spec on his name. Jimmy G, I only dislike Jimmy G because he's wearing a 49ers uniform for so long. But Jimmy G is a good quarterback. He's smart. He'll be a quarterback coach. He's probably going to be an offensive coordinator at some point in his career. He's a very smart individual. I think he's dog water at times. Like he's trash can juice at times in the fourth quarter. But he also went to a championship game in the Super Bowl. So I don't know, man. Jimmy G, he earned his stripes.
Yeah.
Jimmy G is an injury-prone quarterback. Okay, that's true. Saquon Barkley is still one of the best running backs in the league, and he's injury-prone as hell.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you get these star players that are injury-prone and stuff like that, but still they're effective when they're in there.
Ask Jerry Jones about injury-prone players.
They got one. They got one right now.
All right, ask him right now. Ask him about injury-prone players. Jerry Jones. Who's more injury-prone, Dak Prescott or Jimmy G? We'll give you Jimmy G for a fifth-round pick.
I know Dak's injury wasn't Dak's fault. I mean, he came through and he got pressured and he broke his thumb on a throwing play that looked like somebody was trying to block the ball, and it was just crazy. I mean, you could tell when he came out that he broke his thumb because he mouthed to the trainer, "I broke my thumb." You know, you didn't need no audio for that. You could read his lips for that.
I just feel some sort of way about that, because like in the 90s, a quarterback with a broken thumb, we would have never known about it to the end of the game, or when he came out with the tape on his thumb.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Terry Bradshaw. Like, we even go back to the 80s and the 70s. I don't care. We go back that far, Ray. What's his name that played? Was it Lawrence that played with a broken leg? Who finished the game with a broken leg? Was it Ronnie?
It was. I think it wasn't Lawrence Taylor. It was somebody. I can't remember. It was somebody off the Giants, though. I don't know if it was the running back. I don't know if it was Carl.
It wasn't the running back. I think it was a DN. That's why I said. Lawrence.
It could be Lawrence Taylor or Carl Banks. I think Banks is the one that finished it with the broken leg.
Yeah, but bro, then I think Ronnie Lott blew his shoulder out one game, and they ended up just taping him up and putting him back out there. Like, freaking no. And J.J. Watt is a perfect example. That dude plays through everything. He come off a day out of surgery, he on the field. Like, J.J. Watt will play with and that's another thing too. We didn't even talk about T.J. Watt, man.
Yeah.
Bless up to him. That's horrible. The dude is amenable. He's probably one of the best pass rushers in the league. I love his motor. I love the Watt brothers. I just love the Watt brothers, period. They're dope. I hope he heals up quick.
Now, he tore his pectoral muscle?
Yeah. Same thing Chandler Jones did 2 years ago. I think week 1, too.
Yeah.
It's just an unfortunate injury. It's too much power. Lay off the weights, JJ. Or yeah, TJ. Lay off the weights, man. You just rip your muscle right off of your bone and shit.
But I mean, yeah, but he goes out there and he's like his brother. He goes there and put them power hits on there, and sometimes the power hits will make you injury. You hit them just wrong and hit the field just wrong too.
I was watching him play, and I think because he did like a swim move, and when he came over, he hit a helmet.
Yeah.
And it I think that force just.
Yep.
He probably heard it too. Pop.
Probably so.
That hurts. Yeah, no. Prayers up to him. I hope he heals quick, man. I like watching him.
It depends on how bad he did it too. I mean, if it turned black and blue right then and there, then he really he's gonna have surgery and probably be his ending season ending surgery.
That's what they said. But how many times they said JJ Watt had a season injury surgery? He'd be back 4 weeks later and shit. JJ Watt would be playing in a freaking boot.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, back in the day, yeah, people played injured. I mean, they didn't. I mean, look at Atwater for the Broncos. He broke his hand. He told him put a cast on it, and I'm going back out.
Play the same game. And
Yeah,
then, hey man, look at Pierre Paul though. People don't realize Pierre Paul blew off 3 of his fingers or 2 of his fingers,
yeah,
and was playing the same this 3 weeks later or something.
yeah.
So, I mean, there's a certain type of toughness that I like in a player. I'll take the toughness over the polished guy any day. It's just me. So
Yeah,
now I have a question for you out there in Jacksonville, because there's been a lot of talk that Trevor Lawrence is possibly just downplaying it and playing through the motions till he can get out of Jacksonville at the end of his contract. How do you feel about that?
he's not. Trevor Lawrence is not like that. I mean, it depends on who you heard it from. If you heard it from the national media, they don't like Jacksonville at all. So they try to put all these. I mean, the national media is running the thing. Oh, Jacksonville's moving to London. You know, the national media is pushing all this stuff. They don't want Jacksonville to succeed. That's the problem. But then again, here in Jacksonville, as our local media here, no, he's not downplaying anything. He's not trying to get out of here. I mean, I would if ever Meyer was still here. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. But Doug Peterson's here. The locker room's unchanged. The atmosphere has changed dramatically from last year to this year. I mean, I felt it when I first went to the first preseason game that was here in Jacksonville. Urban Meyer's first preseason game, we were just like, oh, this is going to be a terrible thing. But, Doug Peterson came in, he uplifted everything. He said, I'm not here to change the culture right away. I'm here to try to change the culture during my time frame. And to do that, you have to have people buying into the locker room. That's what they're doing. I think they got rid
Right.
of all the troublemakers last year out of the locker room this year. I think the locker room is more gelling. I think the team is more conceptive of listening to Doug Peterson than they were a college coach. You know,
Mhm.
so I mean, to me, downplaying him trying to get out of the motions to get out of here, I don't think so. Because if you listen to Trevor Lawrence's press conference down here, he's dire straits and he's put a home here. He's buying a home here, and he's putting his marks down here, and he's helping out the local schools around the neighborhood, around the thing. He's gone into the much unfortunate community and trying to help out the people that are homeless people around here. You see him out there, trying to help the homeless people, trying to get them in shelters. The Jaguars and him are putting a thing together right now. They're building a homeless shelter and off of Gulf Fair here in Jacksonville. Um, Trying to build a facility. They have a small facility downtown. They're trying to build a facility up here. So if he's trying to say he's downplaying, I don't think so. Because here in Jacksonville, you can listen to press conference after press conference. He's trying to do his best. He works on his craft. He took the receivers that he got on the all season on their own and took them out, and they've been practicing on their own the whole time, running route trees, throwing to them, learning their tendencies. Even when Kirk came, soon Kirk got off the plane. Trevor Lawrence met him right there and there. Told him, "Hey, you put your bags down. Tell your wife or whatever your family, hey, you got to go to practice right now. I'm here. I got to get you to know your tendencies." And I mean the stuff like that he's doing. But you got to understand this. It's only his second year. He's learning, and he got his first year. He got developed by a college coach, not a pro coach.
Right. And that's a big difference. I mean, I don't think Urban Meyer was totally invested in the team. It kind of seemed that way. I mean, especially with all the things that came out as the year progressed, and then how they finished the year versus how they started. So yeah. Now I know I gotta get out of here in a minute, so I'm gonna do a quick little rundown, a couple of things I did want to mention before we get going. Alabama should not be ranked number 2. I think that they showed their butt the last 2 weeks. I got them at a hard. It's hard to even say, but I got them. I got them 4 area. I like Ohio State. I like Georgia for sure. Those two should definitely be up there. Watch out for USC as the second or the middle of the season comes around. They look pretty well as well. ASU. transfer portal is going to be good and bad at times, and last week it was bad for us. So going up against Oklahoma State, seeing that speed difference, because we're a very fast team as well. So seeing that another team and their speed and it being faster than ours was kind of crazy to see. Obviously, we play Eastern Michigan this week, so I think that would be a W in our book. Kazmat this past weekend missed weight, going up against Nate Diaz. Total BS and disrespect move by Kazmat. Talked all that stuff leading up to this fight. Went personal. I mean, there was just a lot of disrespect leading up to this fight, and for him to come in almost 9 pounds overweight is just totally disrespectful. He was at press conferences. To me, that means he was at press conferences knowing he wasn't about to fight this guy, still talking the shit he was. That's just totally disrespectful. But we will go more in depth into that tonight on Throwing Hands with my co-host Josh Said What. So definitely peep that. But other than that, man, I'm glad I was on here. I haven't been on the morning show in a while, so it was good to get back on here and get some things off. And Ray, I ain't been on the morning show with you in.
Last time we've been on the show together was Real Talk.
Man, that was a long time ago.
That's when the Chub Mustard kicked us out. Kicked me out.
Oh yeah. We'll start the AP getting knocked out. I was surprised that he fell asleep the way he did, Damian, but I wasn't really surprised that he got knocked out. I felt like AP coming into this fight was way too confident. He was already talking about what he was going to do afterwards, what his plans were, like, you know what I mean? And I think he was overlooking Le'Veon Bell, which was very disrespectful. Le'Veon Bell is a solid athlete. As well. Adrian Peterson's just a bigger dude naturally, but Le'Veon Bell ain't no joke neither, and we seen that. So I want to see Le'Veon Bell and Frank Gore. I want to see that fight. That'll be good.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
But
for the people out there as well, Gary Green of Bet Vegas will be joining us, as you know. I think we will start having some shows for you guys by the end of the week. So get all your betting, all your Vegas odds, your handicapping right here with us
on the All Sports All Plays Network.
You got it, sir. You got it.
Yeah.
But other than that, Ray, I'm gonna let you take over.
All right, man.
And I'll see you later.
Later. Well, Jay joined us there. You know, he works a lot. Me and him work together. We work in the back scenes of the All Sports All Plays Network, trying to make it a little bit better here, trying to get more shows and get more content for you here. Let's see what's coming up on the All Sports All Plays. You know, the Throwing Hands will be coming up today later on. At 1 o'clock today, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, will be the All Sports All Plays Afternoon Blitz with Chris and the gang. Also, Chris will be doing the Easy Money at Sports Betting Show at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And coming on into the nighttime here on the All Sports All Plays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Her in the Huddle, if you want to listen about Cleveland, all the Cleveland sports teams. Rachel Hill. Her in the Huddle, the ESPN Sports Radio Show that we have on the All Sports All Plays Network. At 7 o'clock, be Unscripted. You can get with Jay McLevin and his crew to get all the sports talks there for Unscripted. And also coming on at 9 o'clock is Big Game James Sports Buzz. It comes on at 9 o'clock Eastern Time here on the All Sports All Plays. And then at 10 o'clock Eastern Time will be the All Sports All Plays After Dark with Tony and his crew. So we have some good shows coming up through here. Stay with All Sports All Plays Network. Next show will be at 1 o'clock p.m. as the All Sports All Plays Blitz, Afternoon Blitz with Chris and the gang. And also you can catch my shows on Wednesday at 10 o'clock. It's the Wrestling Hour. It's the All Sports All Plays Wrestling Hour. Me and the gang there will talk about WWE and some AEW coming up in that, and talking about a little bit about Triple H's, a little bit more about Triple H's era. Started at the WWE and what they're doing without Vince McMahon, who is now officially retired from the WWE through all the scandals and all the stuff through the that he's coming up with. Also, you can come up and see Jags Nation on Fridays. Jag Nation's on Fridays at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We'll break down the next game, the Indianapolis Colts. And then on Sunday, the Jags Nation will come back at 9:30 p.m. to 11 o'clock. We break down the after games of the Indianapolis Colts on that night. So you can stay with my shows there. Also, we got the Horseshoe Indianapolis Talks that comes on Monday nights, comes on Friday nights before my show on Friday nights at 6 p.m. You got the Red Kingdom that will be coming on right after this show here at 12 o'clock. So they're going to do it. They're doing a special. I got word yesterday that they will be doing Red Kingdom is the Kansas City Chiefs, all talking about Kansas City Chiefs. That will be coming up here next. You can also catch, we got the Colts, we got that, we got the Touchdown Crew. Touchdown Crew's come on Sunday at 10 o'clock. That's your pregame show for the NFL. College pregame show. Come and join me on the pregame show of the college football on All Sports All Plays that Saturday at 9 o'clock. Me and Dre Montez. We get all you ready for the kickoff. We lead you right up to kickoff time. So that's all on the All Sports All Plays Network. We got Throwing Hands, like Jay said. He's going to be coming on later on tonight with Throwing Hands. That's on Fridays also. We got tons of shows here. You can go to our website. You can go to the ASAP TV Network.net. Go down where you see the social media show schedule, and it's up to date. It's got the times coming up. It's got the days. You can go and check out the whole week schedule. It's on the All Sports All Plays website. Come and join us. We can go. We got articles up. We got tons of information on that website. You can come in and explode that website up for us. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. This is All Sports, All Place in the morning. I am Ray Cruz. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.
All Sports, All Plays. All Sports, All Plays. All Sports, All Plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All Sports, All Plays.